Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks and predictions video. And you know, whenever we cover the mighty RIZIN Fighting Federation, that we bring on our friend, the mighty J Wolf. And this time it's a little different. Some technical issues kept J Wolf's beautiful face off the screen, but he is here, old school radio style call in, and we are here with the mighty J Wolf to highlight and preview, to give our predictions for every single fight on this RIZIN decade, RIZIN.49 decade, whatever the fuck it's called. J Wolf, welcome back to the show, dude. Even if it's, through the airwaves this time, not through the webcam.
Yes, thank you, brother. I appreciate you having me back on. I appreciate your audience. And just apologize again for technical difficulties. I'm just so happy we could still make this happen, because this is a massive. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait, brother. I can't wait to watch it with y'all. It's going to be so much freaking fun. This card is it's over 20 bouts, and well over 15 plus of them are superior rule set bouts. I think it's like 17 or 18. I think it's like 22 bouts total, and I think 17 or 18 of them are superior rule set bouts. And that is, even if you don't know the names, that many superior rule set bouts, we are going to get some superior rule set action on this New Year's Eve mega event. It's going to be, man, I cannot wait to watch you guys. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, and if you remember, it was also supposed to, this is like a save card, like Sakakibara-san worked his magic to save this, because it was supposed to be even bigger than this. Remember, it was supposed to be a massive 3 to 4 part card, and it was supposed to start off with the Ryan Garcia Anpo boxing match that was supposed to be kick off early in the night here in the American time zone for the RIZIN boxing portion, and then it was going to go into, it was still kind of a decent hour in the American time zones. It was going to go into the collaboration event with PFL. That dummy Don Davis fumbled that. I cannot believe what is going on with the PFL, and it all stems from when he unfortunately the PF flop pay-per-view disaster didn't do very well, and I guess that sort of gave PFL money problems or something, to where they were canceling all the Bellator events or supposedly moving them to next year or whatever, and the collab mega event that we were hyping all year, bro.
I know.
All year, and then he just fumbled it, I guess, because I guess they couldn't cover the cost, or maybe I don't know if he was scared of after the PFL pay-per-view disaster, if he was scared about his brand losing some fights in RIZIN or something. I don't know. I just know it was I'm calling it an all-time fumble by him, because it could have been. But anyways, that's the past. Right here, this card, it was a fantastic save by Sakakibara-san. Like I said, 22 bouts, 15 plus superior rule set, some big names, 3 title fights, massive, kickboxing crossovers. I know Jay from Rush City podcast, Rush Hour podcast, excuse me, Rush Hour Fight Club podcast, excuse me. He's gonna love this, because there's some big time kickboxing. I love how he does kickboxing as well. Shout out to all the Combat Sports Today news family, that have been doing fantastic tweets and coverage on this.
We have a big card to get to, man, so let's dive right into it. You teed it up there. There's no boxing pre-prelims. There's no PFL / Bellator RIZIN crossover. So Sakakibara-san had to go to his plan C, and his plan C was actually pretty good. So the first portion of this card we will dive into, it's the RIZIN Bangaichi portion of this card, which is actually breaking down verse deep / RIZIN. So there's a lot of RIZIN / deep fighters who are going head to head with the Asakura Bros, breaking down guys, some kickboxing fights, some custom rules MMA fights. So let's just dive into the first fight on this card, and we'll fire through these first ones, and we'll give a little bit more attention to those on the main card, the MMA superior rule set action ones. But let's start with the first fight on the card. We got Hiroto Gomyo versus Koki Playboi Akada. Now Gomyo 6-4 as a pro, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one type of fighter. He's 20 29 years of age, and he did win his last fight against Jae Wook Ming, who is a 6-2 guy actually, and he fought him 1 month ago in Deep. I actually covered that promotion. It went the distance, but it was a very good fight. He won that fight unanimous decision, well deserved, and he looked pretty good everywhere. His opponent, Koki Akada, making his pro debut at 26 years of age. Now, he is a kickboxing crossover. He fought in K1 under the Crush banner. Coming off a split decision loss back in 2023, he's making his pro debut as he's had one amateur fight in mixed martial arts in Deep Impact 122 back actually in November, where he knocked Auru Toritsugi out in a brutal knockout. So he is very much a striker going up against a guy who actually has fought pro MMA for a little while under the Deep banner. I'm going to go with Gomyo just because of that, J-Wolf. I'm going with Gomyo just because of that. This is MMA. It's not kickboxing, this one. And because it's MMA and not kickboxing, I'm going to go with the 6-4 MMA fighter who has a well-rounded game.
Remember, this RIZIN Banshee portion is also like a team event, right? It's the breaking down guys. Their team leader is Mikuru Asakura, Kai Asakura's brother. Kai Asakura just made his UFC debut and put on a valiant showing for the flyweight title that I should call. He was like one of the first ones to call it so far back. But his brother is breaking down as his promotion. So he is, he's the team head, the team leader of the breaking down squad. And for the RIZIN Deep squad, it's Ren Hiramoto, the kickboxing crossover superstar Ren Hiramoto. So it's going to be fun to see these two teams go at each other. So kicking this one off, you said Koki Akada is on the breaking down squad, right? And Gomo is on the RIZIN Deep squad, Hiramoto's squad. So I and Hiroto Gomyo is 29 and Koki Akada is 26. But I don't know. I'm just feeling I want to go with Koki Akada on this one. I don't know why. Even
All right.
Even though he's unknown. Well, not unknown, but
he's got power. He's got power, and he's a good kickboxer. It's just for me, this is MMA, and he's making his pro debut against a guy who's kind of seasoned. So, yeah, sure, Playboi could crack him, but I'm more confident in Gomyo, who actually has some decent boxing in this one as well.
Yeah, you know what? No, you're right. You convinced me because, dude, you can't just, dude. Goma has 10 fights and a mixed martial arts fights, so he's got grappling experience, and Akada's just coming in off striking. It's going to be, unless he's really been working on his grappling, and stand-up ability. You're right. You've convinced me. I'm going with Gomyo too. Hiroto Gomyo.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Hyuma Yasui against Hiroki Suzuki, representing RIZIN side here. Suzuki, we know 40 years of age, but doesn't look it. Like he hasn't slowed down. Now, has he had a lot of success in his last few fights? Not necessarily. Valiant efforts, though, but he lost to the young stud who we're going to talk about later on this card, Akimoto, in his last fight. Akimoto didn't knock him out, though. He did hurt him at times, did knock him down, basically beat him everywhere, on the feet, in the grappling department, in the wrestling, control time. And Suzuki's a kickboxing crossover. Well, kind of a shoot box crossover as well as kickboxing crossover. So very much a striker first who has been able to put it all together in his short, but decent MMA career. He's 4-5 as a pro, 2-3 in his last 5 fights on a 2-fight losing streak to Akimoto, as well to Ren Sugiyama as well. The guy he's going up against, 3-0 as a pro. Yasui, 5-0 in his last 5 fights if you include amateur, and he is a grappling ace. He's a grappling ace out of the breaking down crew, out of Japan top team. No less. He had an armbar in his last fight at Deep 123. Honestly, 20 days ago, December 8th, he had a 1-minute armbar against a 5-4 guy in Deep. Before then, he got a unanimous decision at Deep Summer Festival 2024. And at Breaking Down 2, he scored an armbar with just 9 seconds on the clock. Oh, and you want to guess what his 2 amateur wins were, J Wolf? Freaking armbars.
Yes, armbars
in under 2 minutes.
So this guy's arm snatcher. He takes the arms home with him. So I'm going with the young gun here.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going with Yasui.
Me too.
So.
Like, again, Suzuki, way more of a striker. And yeah, has he worked on his takedown defense? Has he worked on his grappling defense? Yeah, of course. But he's 40 years of age. He can't teach an old dog new tricks at this point. And this guy's 24 years of age. And yeah, he's coming for those arms.
yeah, he's definitely a young gun, up and coming fighter here. That they're going to try to, they want to graduate from Breaking Down to the big show in the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation, and this is like the perfect. That's what the point of this whole team Breaking Down versus Team Rizin is going to be. It's going to be all the Breaking Down guys, trying to break into the Epic Rizin, proving themselves against Rizin vets and stuff. So
and to showcase, that Japanese top team is actually a good team, not just the name under the Asakura brothers, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right.
All right, let's move on to the next one because this one's interesting. We have YURA against Taio Asahisa. Taio Asahisa. This is a kickboxing match, by the way, guys. This is a kickboxing match. He is 26 years of age. He has fought mostly under the K1 banner. His last win was a decision win in Crush in October. He's fought in K Festa. He actually fought Yuki Yoza in an unbelievable fight back in 2022. He lost Yuki Yoza, but it was a great fight at the K1 World Grand Prix in 2022. He's actually won the K1 World Grand Prix in 2021 and has gone on win streaks as big as 7 fights in a row in K1 and Crush combined. He has wins over Anpo as well as some other big names in kickboxing. So he's, more of the veteran here up against a 21-year-old YURA who, by the way, half Russian, half Japanese. You don't see that often. Half Russian, half Japanese, trains out of Japan. He's fought mostly under, honestly, kind of everywhere in kickboxing. He fought in Fight Club last time. He fought Rise El Dorado. He fought Rise West. He's fought in Kushu Professional Kickboxing. And he fought on Breaking Down 8, where he scored a first round KO TKO. How do you see this one going? Because even though Asahisa is the veteran, he's only 26 years of age, but he has fought top level guys and he's a K1 Grand Prix winner.
Yeah, I'm going with definitely. You don't want to bet against the King K1 GP winners.
Yeah.
I don't care how old he is or what kind of bad streak he's on. If he's going up against a young gun, guy's barely 20 years old, I'm going with the King K1 veteran for sure.
Yeah, me too. 1991, and funny enough, a karate base, which is cool. Nice. That he's kind of molded into a kickboxing style, much like we've seen with a lot of kickboxers who have crossed over to MMA at the highest level, right? Like you look at the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's karate base, kickboxed, was able to, kickbox in mixed martial arts. I'm not sure if he's ever learning grappling either, but what I wanted to highlight there was, he has the kickboxing background and this is a kickboxing fight, but he had a karate background that he molded into a kickbox, that he molded and made it work in kickboxing, which is very, very unique.
I see. That's why you brought up Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Yes.
I see. Okay, I get it. And speaking of that, the karate, Kyokushin karate, isn't Ueda on this card too, in the heavyweight bout?
Yes, and we'll get to that one too.
We'll get to that as well. There is several Kyokushin karate fighters on this card, so that's even more in his favor, in my opinion. And was the GP that he won in King K1, was it an 8-man one-night GP?
I believe so. That was the 2021.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely. All the money on him.
Yeah.
So you're sorry, kid. You got time to grow, but there's no way I'm betting against a King K1 GP veteran like that. With the amount of experience he's got. So.
No, I'm with you, brother. And look, YURA, he's solid. His boxing is very, very sound. Like you can tell at such a young age with with such polished technique already. Like, he's going to be a threat. But yeah, just way more experience already for Asahisa. I mean, he fought Suta Kimura as well. Just, yeah, both solid, but I'm going with the more experienced guy who has miles on his body, but like, he's only 26 years of age. It's not like a 35-year-old kickboxer, former K1 champ going up against a rising star here. So yeah, I got Asahisa as well. All right, moving on here, we have Kota Miura making another appearance. It seems like this guy only really makes appearances on New Year's Eve against Daichi Tomizawa. The 27-year-old Daichi Tomizawa is back as well. And this one is in mixed martial arts. Tomizawa making his debut in mixed martial arts, 27 years of age. Again, K1 kickboxer who's actually fought in RIZIN kickboxing as well. So he's fought primarily under the Crush banner, and he fought Shinotsuka in kickboxing in RIZIN.49, where he lost. I believe that was that small? Yeah, that was the small gloves kickboxing. And he lost a decision in his last RIZIN event back last year. But he's back here again on New Year's Eve to fight Kota Miura, who is 2-1 as a pro in mixed martial arts. He's only 22 years of age, lost to Koji in his last fight, and lost against Ren in a custom rules fight. And yeah, he got an armbar though at Super RIZIN 1. He got an armbar at Super RIZIN 1. And you know what's crazy? Back in 2022, he had a modified kickboxing fight against Buakaw at RWS. Anyways, let's just say the loss to Koji has aged well, given like how much of an absolute stud Koji is. And we've seen him land the freaking grounded kick last year to get that win against Kota Miura. So that means, and Koji's actually done decent since. What say you on this one? Who out of the the inactive MMA fighter who really hasn't put it all together up against a kickboxer who did well with big gloves, but going up against Shinotsuka, who let's be honest, he's on this card later as well. He's a beast, right? He's a brawler. Like he didn't get knocked out.
He went KFC crossover, right?
Yep. And he took him to a decision despite getting beaten up. Yeah. Before I give my pick, who do you got in this one?
Kota Miura is the reason that he's usually on the New Year's Eve big cards is because he's a pretty big name in Japan because his father is a soccer or football star in Japan. He plays I don't think he plays anymore, but he was like on the Japan national team, national soccer team, or national football team, and he was like a genuine like soccer star, football star over there. So this is his son, and also this says on Tapology this is a professional MMA bout.
Yep.
So this would be the first time that he hasn't had a custom rules bout. So this is his first full superior rules set bout right here. So that's pretty interesting to see. And I want to go with him. I'm going to go with Kota Miura, the young gun, 22 years old. I mean, I know Daichi Tomizawa, he's 27, but I don't know. I just feel like Kota Miura is going to get it done this time on New Year's Eve.
I feel like this is a striker versus grapplers affair. I don't think Kota Miura has the striking that's even close. That won't even it's not even close to be able to match Tomizawa's in this one. I found it extremely ironic too that Kota Miura got grounded kicked in the face with his dad being a soccer star, and that's all I'll say with that.
No, expand on that. Thank you for calling them grounded kicks. And the reason we call them grounded kicks instead of soccer kicks now is because there is a legalization effort underway to get this full superior rule set legalized in America, and calling them soccer kicks gives the a negative connotations. People can image in their head when they think of soccer kick, they think like a punt, like a free kick, and that's not how it goes down in the middle of combat when a soccer kick is thrown. And your listeners know, but I just like to, in case there's any new listeners, want to make sure. And thank you for calling it grounded kicks as well to help with that legalization effort.
Absolutely. By the way, shout out to Black Combat, a newer promotion out of Korea that actually employs the superior rule set and the grounded kicks as well. It was a pleasant surprise when I was covering that just a couple of days ago. But yeah,
absolutely.
Let's
elevate all those promotions that allow the superior rule set. Black Combat, Deep, and KO Unlimited. There's a knockout kickboxing promotion that Chihiro Suzuki, the headliner of this Rise of Decade event, he's the actual kickboxing crossover. He does kickbox and mixed martial arts, but he's a current KO kickboxing champion. And KO has a card this weekend as well. They're doing unlimited rules. Meaning it's like a kickboxing bout that allows ground and pound. Like if you like
old school shoot a box, like old school shoot a boxing.
And they allow full superior rule set on the ground, but with no grappling. So you can kick, you can ground a kick, you can ground stomp, you can ground a knee, everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely want to give props to all those great promotions that allow the superior rule set. That's just that's what we love.
Hey, and so, slowly but surely, KSW will follow in their footsteps.
Yes.
Anyways, we got to move along here because it's a big card. So anyways, yeah, I'm actually going the opposite way. I'm going Tomizawa. I just don't think Kota Miura is taking mixed martial arts seriously. It's not like he, with his dad being a star and stuff like that and all his modeling gigs and whatnot, it's like he doesn't have to make all his money from fighting. Whereas Tomizawa, like, he's a kickboxer. He probably has a day job too, but he is a kickboxer. That is identity. And I know it's grappler versus striker. I know it's Tomizawa's first official MMA fight. Like, he hasn't even had an amateur fight. You got to think that, like, the one thing that he drilled was takedown defense and that freaking uppercut or knee on the entry. I think he catches Kota Miura. I really do. I think if Kota Miura takes him to the ground, it's good night, Jim Kite, it's over. But I think if, and I usually side with the grappler versus a guy with no grappling at all in mixed martial arts, but like, it's Kota Miura and how much has he trained this year? I'm going to bank on Tomizawa actually preparing for his first big MMA fight and actually adding some tools to be able to keep this fight on the feet so that he can crack his opponent. So I'm going with the kickboxing crossover on this one.
All right. Yeah, well, this is our first one. We're differing. You go with the kickboxing crossover. I'm going with the soccer, the son of the soccer star Kota Miura. I think he's, he was young before, and now he's getting almost 23. So I feel like, maybe it's not like his full-time job, but I don't think he wants to come out there and get embarrassed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm picking Kota Miura. You're picking Tomizawa. That's good. We got different ones on this one. So that's good. But let's keep it rolling. Like you said, we got a massive card here.
Yeah. On the feature portion of the first one, the first part of this card, anyways, we have Oi Noda versus, and we were just talking about him, Tatsuki Shinotsuka. Now, Io Noda is kind of everybody was a late replacement for this. I'm just going to put that as the caveat, but he was like a late replacement, as he wasn't the guy that Breaking Down originally wanted in this space. I forget who they wanted, but anyways, he was a fill-in of the fill-in because his whole damn card was a fill-in. He's 21 years of age. He primarily fights out of Rai. Actually, you know what? He's mostly a K1 kickboxer. He's fought in Deep Kick a few times. He last fought in Rise. He fought in the Rise World Series 2024 Osaka. He's on a 3-fight losing streak in kickboxing. He lost at Crush 154. He lost at Rise and Landmark 9. And he lost at Rise World Series 2024. Now, he's young, and he did, fight for a title under the Crush banner in 2022. He ended up getting knocked out in the second round, and he's going up against Tatsuki Shinotsuka. Now, folks, I have to say, this is a custom rules kickboxing. It's a small glove kickboxing, basically like one championship's Muay Thai, except it's not Muay Thai rules, it's kickboxing. And Tatsuki Shinotsuka, whether it's you give this guy small gloves and he's going to break your jaw, man. He's going to break your jaw. Rude Boy is 26 years of age. He's 3-1 in pro boxing, but he's a hell of a kickboxer, ladies and gentlemen. Won some really, really tough kickboxing fights under the Rise banner. He then fought for Crush, which is really cool. He left no doubt and cleaned up the competition, even putting together 5-fight win streaks in Rise, came over to K1, put together a 3-fight win streak in K1, and now in RIZIN, he has a 2-fight win streak, beating Tomizawa in the custom small gloves kickboxing affair that we're gonna see here. And he beat Justin Martinez bare knuckle when BKFC actually gave a fuck about RIZIN and their cross promotion. But we'll get into how
I think that's still going.
I mean, it's technically still. I was just gonna say I'll get into how Isha really feels about that on a different video, because we're talking about Don Davis fumbling things. Feldman's no saint in this relationship either, but we'll get into that on a different day, dude. Shinotsuka is gonna absolutely destroy Noda, and I think he knocks him out in like the first minute, maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah. Agreed 100%. Agreed 100%. And also on this one, we got to make sure to let the audience know. Check out Shinotsuka is also known for having elaborate walkouts as well, kind of like Yama on top of a deal, right?
Yep.
Like he isn't he in the Black Rose camp?
Yes, he's out of the Black Rose camp. And by the way, actually, I looked at my notes here. I don't know the name of him again, but for those who like are following Breaking Down closely, apparently it was the Breaking Down champion, or one of the Breaking Down champions, who was actually supposed to fight Shinotsuka. So I mean, Shinotsuka, he's game to fight anyone, but you know, he kind of got a little lucky here taking on Noda, and he's going to be able to put on a show. But yeah, he hits hard, especially with the small gloves. He's faster. His opponent lost 3 in a row, and I just think that like Tatsuki Shinotsuka has proven that he can fight any striking sport. Like, what's next for this guy? Muay Thai, honestly.
Yeah, no, 100% agreed. I got Tatsuki Shinotsuka as well, 100%. But it just depends on what round he's going to get the knockout in, right? Is it going to be first round, or is it going to be the third round?
Bro, I think it's the first round. 2 minutes of the first round. I think he cracks him.
He's going to get out the first minute, huh?
Oh yeah, well he's tall and he's lanky too. Like, he's the exact frame you want for like these smaller kickboxing guys, right?
Yeah, and he's got experience with bare knuckle and small open finger gloves like this one is. And Noda Ioi doesn't have any of that experience. He's just young, and he's basically stepped up to keep Tatsuki Shinotsuka on the card, basically. So big ups to Oya, but Shinotsuka is going to just destroy him, like you said. If he gets out the first minute or first 2 minutes, like you're saying, Aisha, we're going to give you some props here. We're going to give Noda AOF some props for if he gets out the first 2 minutes.
There you go. And this one's an interesting one, and actually, I had to like clean my glasses because I thought I was. I thought I was hallucinating here. I thought I was dreaming. I did not believe that this was the case, but making a quick turnaround up at 170, Sho Patrick Usami taking on Issa Hosokawa in small gloves kickboxing.
Yeah.
How do you see this one going?
I got Usami, but Issa Hosokawa there's no information on Tapology about him. Like, he's like I assume he's from Breaking Down side, because Usami is a RIZIN veteran, right? So I don't know. What do your notes say about Issa Hosokawa?
So the only really thing I could find on him was some Instagram highlights, and basically what our friends and your fellow contributors at the We Are RIZIN podcast had to say. So basically, he has decent power, and I actually saw him like drop a few guys, and I don't even know what leagues he fought in. Like, there's some backyard freaking YMCA looking kickboxing leagues, but yeah, I really just don't know much else other than he has decent power, and like he has a record, but it's in such low end promotions that it's like it's just really tough to track, especially in the world of kickboxing, where Sho Patrick Usami, 24 years of age, he has a pro MMA record of 7-4, only 24 years of age, but if you look at how he wins in mixed martial arts, 6 KO TKOs, 0 submissions, 1 decision. He's 3-2 in RIZIN. He lost his last 2 fights via decision, a very close decision to Nishikawa, and he put up a pretty good fight against Yusuke Iachi as well. But where he dominates is boxing. I truly believe Sho Patrick Usami has beautiful boxing technique. He's going to be a little doughy for this one. Like the boys at the We Are RIZIN podcast were saying, this is basically an open weight affair for him, because he just doesn't have to cut weight, because he probably walks around, 170, 180, because he's a big lightweight, right, when he fights there. So yeah, I just think Sho Patrick Usami is going to outbox this guy. I think he's going to love not having to deal with anybody taking him down on this one. And I think this is one-way traffic, just like the last one too. I could see this ending in the first or second round. That's assuming that this random fighter, right, is not just some random stud who's like, haha, gotcha, bitch. I'm actually crazy.
How big does he look in those Instagram videos? Does he look like he's 170 naturally?
Yeah,
or
I mean,
like
I mean, he's not jacked, so he's a little doughy. He was a little doughy, but he wasn't out of shape, you know. He's got the typical 170 Japanese body.
It doesn't say anything on tap. It doesn't even have to give his age or his height or anything. So it's like
just straight up Chuck Norris.
It's crazy. I hate picking against somebody like that. You don't know anything, but it's like, how can you pick him? There's like barely any information about him. You got to go with Show Patrick. So, like you said, fantastic strike, got great boxing, like you're saying. And this is an open finger glove, another open finger glove kickboxing match. So, a guy that's got excellent striking, excellent boxing in small gloves. Come on, it's hard to bet against that. So I'm definitely picking Show Patrick Usami.
All right, and in the main event of this portion, Rukiya Anpo, who's becoming more of a star than I ever thought he would upon making the crossover from, you know, the kickboxing promotions to just RIZIN, because, you know, he's still a kickboxer. He's 0-1 in MMA, or is he a boxer now? Because he's not fighting Ryan Garcia on this one. He's fighting a extremely short notice opponent in Sina Karimian. Now, I usually root for any Persian fighter out there. My father's from Iran, so but Sina's a fucking dick, dude. So like, I'm going Anpo on this one. I'm rooting for Anpo, and I think he'll get it done. This is not a kickboxing fight. This is an exhibition boxing match. I say exhibition with like the quotations because it's not just 3 rounds. It's 2-minute rounds, but 6 rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. You're correct. Six 2-minute rounds, 100%.
6 2-minute rounds. Sina, a very accomplished kickboxer in his day, but he's getting up there in age, 36 years of age. And what's funny, his last 2 fights ended in a no contest, one of which where he just walked out of the freaking ring. He just walked out of the freaking ring, dude.
It makes me worry. I hope he actually. I think he will, because he's gonna have a massive size advantage here. He's a definite light heavyweight.
He's a light heavyweight who's fought at heavyweight. Yeah, he's a light heavyweight who's fought at heavyweight too, or cruiserweight. Sorry, yeah.
And he's a King K1 champion, another King K1 Grand Prix champion here, but so Anpo, right? So, you know, and Anpo, he's coming off. He already did a boxing exhibition? Didn't he fight Pac-Man?
Yes. So Anpo fought Manny Pacquiao at Super RIZIN 3 and actually looked pretty good doing so. He looked pretty good doing so. But the thing is, he was training to fight Ryan Garcia in boxing. Now, I imagined Ryan Garcia was probably just going to mop the floor with him. But the fact that he was like just training for the Manny fight, and, you know, looked fine against, you know, an old Manny Pacquiao, but looked fine nonetheless. He is in that boxing mindset right now. Sina is not. Like, I'm sure Sina can box. I'm sure Sina will have the power advantage. Obviously, boxing technique is part of kickboxing. I mean, look at John DeBella in one championship, right? His style is boxing. He's a boxer with kicks, and it's a beautiful style. And you know what? Sina, with his experience, could probably draws from, you know, all the boxing that he has trained throughout his career. But I think Anpo is just in that lane right now, fresh. And though the size, the weight, probably the power advantage will go, you know, Sina's favor, Ampo's tall and lanky, and he uses his frame to his advantage. So I think just because he's fresher, he's younger, and he was just
full camp.
And yeah, full camp preparing for boxing. I think he's going to win this one. I don't think the only way I think this fight finishes before the 6 rounds, like before the end of the fight, before the last bell rings, is if Sina just f***s off.
He just leaves again.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll do that this time, because, like I said, he's going to have a significant size advantage. I think he'll still actually step in the ring and actually perform this time. And I want Anpo to win, so I'm going to go with you on this, because, like I said, he got a full camp. And, you know, he's like you said, he's in the boxing mindset right now, coming off the Manny Pacquiao exhibition, looking, you know, he didn't look terrible in it, right?
No.
He arguably won some rounds from Pac-Man. I mean, that's no small feat right there. I don't care how old Pac-Man was. That's still freaking Pac-Man. 8th division world champion boxer, one of the greatest offensive boxers of all time. And Anpo is in there hanging with him for the first couple rounds before Pacquiao decided to turn it on, you know. But Sina is not a legendary boxer this time. So Anpo, he's really only going to have to overcome the height and weight disadvantage.
Yeah.
But if he's had a full camp, I mean, I could see him, ripping shots to the body and just taking Sina's wind out of there, and then just. I mean, if this goes to decision, is there going to be declared a winner on this, or is it just the only way to win is to knock out?
That's a good question, actually. So it doesn't count towards the fighter's record. So yeah, I don't think they're going to get an official win or loss. But because this is 6 rounds, I mean, like, I don't care if it goes on their record or not. Like, that's a fight, right? Like 3-minute rounds, that's sparring. 6 rounds, that's a fight.
Yeah. And are there odds on this one too, or no?
No, there's not odds on any of the opening fights.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't even really matter then if we, pick wrong for your audience. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Anpo then, 100%.
Yeah,
I want to see the smaller fighter take out Sina. I mean, this is a David versus Goliath match right here. So it's gonna be real interesting to see how this one goes down. It's gonna be pretty fun. And this is the headliner of the first part of RIZIN, and we should let the audience know as well. Forgot to in the intro. This is going to be a massive show, and it starts earlier this year. It starts at around 8 p.m. Pacific, if I'm not mistaken, which is 11 p.m. Eastern, and it starts with this first portion: RIZIN Banshia, Team Mikuru versus Team Hiroto, Breaking Down versus RIZIN, Team D. So this is the headlining bout of that one, and it's all part of the same. So if you get the RIZIN Decade pay-per-view, if you would have got it before Christmas, you could have got it for only $15.
Yeah.
Now I think it's $20. So I mean, that's still a great deal.
Oh yeah, worth every penny.
Yeah.
Like, this might be a 10 to 12 hour card, and you're paying $15 for it, bro. 23
Absolutely.
fights. That's nothing. That's less than $1 a fight.
Absolutely. And how often does that happen? And these are superior rule set fights. Well, I mean, of course, we're talking about the beginning portion. There's some open finger glove kickboxing, boxing, and stuff like that. But the majority of the bouts are superior rule set bouts. And on this first portion, all those mixed martial arts bouts we were telling you about, that's superior rule set. It's not, just because they're on the first part, it's not going to be, the pussified UFC rules or unified pussified rules. It's going to be the superior rule set. So it's worth watching, and it comes with, when you purchase RIZIN Decade, the whole show comes with it. And like you said, it's going to be possibly a 12. Although I don't see how they can make it go 12 hours. I'm hoping there's not going to be a freaking 2-hour longer intermission this time, just so they can hit the 12 midnight for New Year's. But if it is, it is. But so just be prepared. That's a great thing about if you get the pay-per-view. It comes with full replay in it. So if you can't stay up all night, you doze off, whatever, you can turn it right back on the next day or the day after, whenever because I think they have to, before they upload, they got to scrub some of the copyrighted music on it. But the replay, the point is the replay will be available for you right away. So, just watch as much as you can, and then whatever, if you fall asleep, whatever you miss, just throw it on the replay. You ain't missed nothing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But this first portion is going to be pretty cool to see. Who do you think is going to win too? I know we went through the picks. I think we mostly picked the Team RIZIN side.
Yeah.
So you got Team RIZIN coming out on top on this one, right?
I got Team RIZIN coming out on this one. I feel like maybe one breaking down guy might win.
So that's going to give the team coaches, Mikuru Asakura and Ren Hiromoto, is going to give, especially Ren, because I don't know if you guys follow him on Twitter, he's just a trash talker. He's a great follow. He just constantly is ripping guys, and just it's a good fun. And of course, his main target is Mikuru, and it's just to add to the fun of this event. He's going to give fuel to the fire here, and Ren's going to be just talking so much trash. Probably going to egg Mikuru back into the ring, and maybe that we'll get, it'll be like hype for a future bout between Ren and Mikuru again, a rematch of the Super RIZIN 3 this year. Arguably the biggest event, especially of the modern era, the biggest Japanese mixed martial arts event of the modern era, that was headlined by Ren Mikuru. So this could be like a like a sneak preview or like a prelude to the rematch of that for next year. So we'll see how it plays out.
Absolutely.